Here's my line that I'm going to be cutting the edge back to, nice and scored in earlier. I'm going to use a chisel. You can use a carpentry chisel. This is a lettering wood carving chisel with a bevel on both sides, but you can use an ordinary chisel that you'd use for carpentry for this. We're just going to go straight down like that, and we're going to go down. If that's square, we're going to come back just a little bit, perhaps 10 degrees, because we want to show a little bit of light. So we won't make that square, just back a little bit. Now, depending on how much wood you've got left here, you might want to take a gouge and just nibble some of that back. And we'll certainly see that over here. Let's just take some of that away, stopping short of the background. So we're just dressing that up just in front of the line. So I'd take some of that away. I'd probably use my mallet, but if I just do this section to show you. So don't be afraid to move that back in, and remember that we've still got this bit of mess down below because we haven't gone to the background. Then we set our chisel square 90 degrees and we push it straight down like so. Yeah, so that could be curved, it doesn't matter, but there's my wall set in. Then what I have to do is come along this and take some of that away like this. I'm just doing this little section to show you. I'm going to be merging that in. Now, it might be that, as you can see here, not everything's come off. So I might have to go back and push that in. Now, you might end up with a very light stab line here, and that's okay. But what we're looking for is that we're looking for this junction to come down here, this wall rather, and then this plane, this floor come up here, and we're left with a nice tidy junction. So we have two lines here. We have a line there at the top, and we have a line at the bottom. This top junction like a Z shape, up, down like that. So that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to work around the wall first because that's easy pickings to begin with. And I'm just going to push that back a little bit with my flat gouge, but just nibble it back. This side was across the grain, so this is end grain of wood. When it's coming to the side grain like this, along the grain, that's a little trickier because the grain tends to pull. So instead of a flat gouge, I'm going to use one with a little bit of a curve, a number 6 here, to take that back. Same thing, nibbling back, but just making sure I cut nicely. So with the corner, what you need to do is put in a stop cut here. So that's a 45-degree cut straight into that corner, so that this chisel can come up there like that. See, so it comes right into that corner. And whatever angle you've decided on, you've got to keep that going. Then in this side, what you probably need to do is put a bit of a side slice on it, and it might be this way or it might be that way depending on how the grain is going. And this comes right into that corner as well. I'm going to make it about the same 10 degrees. There. So work your way around. I'd work your way around the whole of the edge because that's a good bit of practice. Make sure that's down into there. And as I said, you can slightly stab the background. I've been around the edge at about 10 degrees, and what I'm going to do now is continue with those parts that I'm not going to undercut, which would be like the tail part here and the head, in exactly the same sort of way. The difference here between that and the wall is I'm coming straight down then this tool, which is slightly curved, will just run up there like that. So I'm not paying attention to these little details at the moment. They'll be put in as I model it. Just coming straight down, like so. And I can start removing wood across here. I finished the tail. For the head, I've nibbled back with my gouge again, just as before, like so. And then using it to match a sort of shape that ignores the little details, I'm going to just make a cut like this. So I'm going to set in like so and like so. And then I have to clear that away. You can get some of that away with this gouge. And again, just as before, finishing that up. So with this, these parts that will have little details in, don't stab strongly into the background, because we might need to adjust that slightly. So at the end of this stage here, all this should be looking as if it's passing through. The wall should be fairly neat. And these walls should be more or less the same height. A little bit of variation is inevitable, but you shouldn't really notice it. So from here, I can come onto the wings. Now they're going to be undercut. So it's exactly the same as before. Only this time what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to undercut them, I'm not actually going to clear away all that stuff at the bottom. I'm just going to come and set them in. Picking my gouge that matches a curve, either by just pushing it straight down like this if it's the right shape, like it might be over here, or slicing it if the wood's soft enough. So what I'm getting here, more than anything else, is that edge. That's what I'm after. So I'm leaving this stuff here, because when we undercut, what I don't want is to have stabbed marks here that I can then see because I've taken wood going underneath. So leave that mess there, but make sure you get the edge you want. So I'm now setting in this edge, leaving, I don't know, about a third of the wood underneath. So I'm going to leave that, just set that in all the way around like that. I can start over here even. You can see here that I've changed the line a little bit, and here I'm not actually to my drawing, and that's okay. The drawing is always going to be a guideline, so I decided to make this wing a little fatter and this angle a bit different. So feel free to do that. Just to point out again, you've gone down up to the edge of this outline of whatever that subject is, and you've gone down to a little bit above the background, and so there's all this left, and that'll enable us to undercut. And if that's bothering you, if there's too much, you can just get a V-tool and take a bit out, but don't go below the background, and don't start undercutting at the moment. So you can see here I've not really been able to get into there yet, but I will be able to get into there once I start this stage. So before we undercut, we're going to start modelling the whole dragonfly, giving it some shape, and then we can undercut. So the next stage is some modelling.